good morning, or good night, complete strangers. And today, I'm on a green screen. Which sadly means I can't wear my green hat. So while I'm on the green screen, I decided to manipulate the situation and talk about God of War. A series that, as I start to get older, begins to confuse me further and further. Because for me, when I started the God of War series, I was roughly about in high school. You know, the absolute most perfect time to play God of War.
Gore! Gore! Blood tits! Gore! Ah! Blood! Gore! Ah!
But then as I got older and went back to replay all the God of War games, I started to rethink the whole series completely differently. Because you see, in high school, my favorite of the God of War series was the third one, because... But then when I revisited the games, I favored one a whole lot more. So much so that it makes me almost wonder, why did the God of War series even need sequels? Now, I'm not saying that the sequels are bad in any way, but story-wise, they started great and started to just degrade from there. Because the story of God of War 1 was basically the retelling of a very classic Greek tragedy.
Kratos was a great general of the Spartan army. All that he knew and cared to know was war and battle and death and shit like that. Then one day, almost at the hands of defeat, he called upon the god of war Ares to destroy his enemies. And in exchange, he offered his own life. Ares accepted, but Kratos' victory was short, for he soon realized that he became Ares' kill servant for all of eternity.
Oh, the irony!
Now Kratos must travel across far lands to find the power to destroy the god of war. This is voice acting.
And really, the game translates it very well as a guy who knows only war, trying to solve a situation by just fighting and killing everything. Because that's what you do, you rip shit up! And by the end of it, the God of War game proves that violence, they prove that violence is not always the answer. Okay, fine, so it wasn't written like Braid, but it was a good narrative to follow. But then all of a sudden, 2 was made. And I'm not going to spoil the ending of 1 for you, but for all of you that have played the ending to God of War 1, that was a good ending. Like, the story tied up all the loose ends so well, you'd think a vampire was writing it. So why would the company even think of making another God of War game?
Alright, it was made by these jackasses.
Okay, fine. So maybe a lot of my problems with Santa Monica Studio have to do with the fact that it's associated with that. But even so, when they started making the sequel to God of War, they stripped apart a lot of elements from the original game's story.
And again, I don't want to give away a whole lot about the story, but one thing about the later God of War games was that Zeus was a huge character in the games, and he was also greatly connected to Kratos, but in the first game, Zeus and Kratos see each other and don't seem to have any of that. And then it finally got to God of War 3 where it just seemed like the story didn't matter anymore. And it's there that I start to get confused. As the story started to get more progressively worse, the combat became more progressively awesome! As I explained in my Devil May Cry video. The combat style of Kratos is a fucking tank! He fucking throws swords, rips heads off, kicks heads, and then they go spinning and flipping. He rips wings off, he slices off legs when people are trying to run away. He puts like his thumbs in their eyes to crush their head and throw them off cliffs. The combat was just so much fucking fun, man! And although I will admit that I prefer the combat style to 2, mostly because it doesn't give you a whole bunch of weapons that all just do the same fucking thing, as the games went on, they just started to learn more and more of awesome ways to kick people's arse. But at that price, the stories start to get progressively less interesting, and yet no one seems to care. And that's when I start to wonder something. What does it actually mean to be a good sequel? Is it like how you logically progress a story on from its starting point? Or is it how you better advance the mechanics in the game so that it's more fun? Or is it like a fucking combination of both? Like, take the Banjo-Kazooie series, for example. These two games are the definition of how to make a good sequel. The first game introduced a really fun and creative way to just pick shit up while creating a narrative that was interesting, compelling, and actually gave you something worth fighting for. I mean, fine, it wasn't like fucking Metal Gear, but for a kid's game, it was pretty fucking cool. And then Banjo-Tooie came in, where is it? And advanced not only the gameplay of picking shit up, but also made the story even more compelling and gave you something worth fighting for. Like, Banjo-Kazooie is the game where shit started happening. Banjo-Tooie is the game where shit got real. And for that reason, it was stupendous. And that beautiful multiplayer. Banjo-Tooie is what I would consider a perfect sequel. And yet, God of War. I've yet to hear a single complaint about this. So what is it about God of War that makes it so that people just kind of forget about the fact that the stories just started to get kind of lamer? Maybe it's because it's not both the gameplay and the story that make a sequel, but rather it could be one of the two. But then again, what the hell do I know? I mean, I was the one that wanted to make a Devil May Cry retrospective without actually replaying all of the Devil May Cry games. So instead, what do you guys think? I mean, I have never actually have asked anybody, hey, what do you think in the comments, but what do you think in the comments? So go ahead and leave a comment below about the God of War series, or what makes a sequel good, or Banjo-Kazooie. If you want to talk about Banjo-Kazooie with me, I would fucking talk about Banjo-Kazooie with you for until we were both dead. Okay? This shot has shadows on it because it's serious, not because I'm walking away from the light. What am I talking? There's no light. There's no light. And for those of you that think that I'm funny and aren't subscribed to me, hold on a second because a button's gonna show up somewhere on the screen to subscribe. And I'd really appreciate that. It brings me to higher places! Like being able to afford a green screen. Ain't it nice? But for now, good day, complete strangers. The name is Jradgex, and I'm an expert. So they decided to make a... So why would the company even dare make another water war game? Water Wars, damn it! Oh, super stokers! So why would the company even think of making another Water World? Water World, it's a place to go if you wanna get wet. So why would the company even thinking of making what content? I love this game. Banjo fucking shit. You got something? Put it there. Go ahead. Okay, I'll scroll for you. I can't scroll. I can't scroll. I can't scroll. Ah!